We know what it is by definition, by what the experts are telling us, and by what we have seen on our TV screens, on our phones. We've seen legal scholars say that this is a genocidal campaign to destroy Palestinian lives. So I am not going to spend any more time in this building that is actively harming folks. I just knew that I could no longer be complicit. Both of my parents instilled in me at a really young age that it's important to take care of the people in our community and to really have empathy and love for people around the world. And so that instilled in me this desire to be a public servant. The experience for me walking along border crossings and seeing children living in refugee camps, the sheer magnitude of what Israel's occupation is doing to generations of people is something that has stayed with me since that time, since being in Palestine. So I started my job at the White House in September, 1 month before October 7th, and I remember that day so clearly, but I felt this gut feeling of holding my breath, of just kind of bracing myself for what I knew would unfold after October 7th. And I felt a lot of fear for what was to happen. And I knew that specifically in my position as the deputy director for the DEIA office, this was a time when having conversations about repair and inclusion were going to be deeply, deeply necessary. So we collectively sat in a room and heard staff members pouring out pieces of themselves, of their family histories, of their personal connections to both Israel and Palestine. And it was so heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to hear how Israel's attack following October 7th was causing so much harm to people's families, and I think all of us knew that it would just continue to get worse. I think President Biden has, in his whole career, loudly been a Zionist and believes that a safe Israel means safety for all Jewish people. I don't think it takes a policy expert to see that there has been a clear party that he is mostly caring about, and that is Israelis. And that has resulted in 40,000 deaths of innocent Palestinians that we know of. It's probably a lot larger of a number. I had many junior level staff come to me and say, I have a strong opinion about this and I can't bring this up to my manager. A lot of people thought that they were going to lose their jobs. And so I was not doing well personally because I had friends in the region. I was making sure that my friends in Gaza were okay. I was connecting with people who had gone to Palestine with to say, what can we do? And so I felt this deep, almost disembodiment as I walked into the EEOB every single day, passing protesters who were wrapping plastic baby dolls covered in blood outside of my office, or who were spraying fake blood at my feet. And I didn't feel angry at them, but I felt this gratitude for saying, thank you for reminding us what is happening in a place that feels really far away, but that our building is directly tethered to. It was really difficult for me to do my job because I felt complicit in harm. And so, yeah, it was not an easy time. It continues to be a really difficult time, I think, for all of us as Americans who know that so much of the violence that is occurring in Palestine is happening with our funding, it's happening with our bombs. There's a complicity in that should make us feel deeply uncomfortable.
Israel's parliament just passed a law to ban the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees from operating in Israel and the occupied West Bank. The Israeli parliament is translating genocidal policies into national law, codifying the killing and starvation of millions of Palestinians with the aim of erasing current and future generations. And the two bills were backed by the vast majority of Israel's parliamentarians, I think 100 out of 120, proving without a doubt that Israel's entire government is fascist and anti-UN and anti-international law, not just the far-right politicians. The whole system is corrupt. So while the world sits here and talks about increasing humanitarian aid to Gaza, Israel is taking moves to try to legalize that which is clearly illegal under international law. And surprise, surprise, the US response is to voice deep concern over Israel's plans. Germany and the UK chose to use the word grave instead of deep in expressing their concerns. And the UK, the British government, went so far as to say that Israel's reputation as a democracy is deeply harmed by this decision. Well, I say, what a load of bullshit. First of all, Israel is not a democracy. It's an ethnocracy, a settler colonial project in which one ethno-national group dominates over others. If ever there was a time to sanction and suspend Israel from the United Nations, this would be it. But of course, that won't happen because the US continues to protect Israel from any accountability. Israel's own foreign ministry officials have been warning that this bill, if passed, which it has been now, will threaten Israel's membership in the UN for violating its charter. The challenge, of course, is that the US has maintained its position as the largest funder of the United Nations, providing about 20% of the total budget. In 2022, it increased its funding by about $5.6 billion, reaching an all-time high of $18 billion, which is just a few $billion less than the US has sent to Israel in the last year alone. Now, the ICC has not issued the arrest warrants against Netanyahu and Gallant because the US and the UK continue to pressure the ICC not to do so. So by passing this bill, Israel is in fact openly violating international law as a member state of the UN. It has to abide by its charter. By blocking a UN agency, especially in occupied territories during a genocide, they are flagrantly violating the UN Charter and international law. So Israel, of course, is counting on the US and the UK and Germany to continue to save them from any consequences, to continue to grant them impunity from the ICJ, from the ICC, and the credibility of those organizations as well as Western powers is hanging by a thread. I mean, if they cannot protect an essential agency like UNRWA, an agency that they have established and funded, from Israel, they can't protect it from this rogue state that's waging genocide and an illegal occupation for almost 6 decades. If the best they can do is express grave or deep concern, we're not just in a crisis. I mean, and by the way, Israel's cabinet also just approved another attack against Iran in response to the attack against Netanyahu's home. So I guess it's October and surprise, surprise, we're here.
You are witnessing the attempt to annihilate a nation, destroy a nation. It is not even hidden. It is in plain sight. And yet the very tools designed to respond to these situations are not being used. So which one is it? Are Palestinian lives not worth saving?